If you like skill-based matchmaking in video games, that says a lot about you. You have no drive, no confidence, no resilience, and no work ethic, and probably won't make it anywhere in life. Yo, what is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel for another video. I'm your host, Original Bon Jovi, the owner of SKIRATA Gaming. Instead of looking at a Call of Duty gameplay or a best class setup or something, we're going to be talking about a very hot topic in the COD world right now, and that is skill-based matchmaking, or SBMM for short. If you're familiar with Call of Duty Twitter or YouTube or TikTok, you've probably heard something about this, even if you don't know very much, and I'd like to shed light on that. We're going to clear up a few misconceptions, talk about how it works in Call of Duty, why I think it's bad, and what I think the solution should be. But before we get into that, I want to make sure you guys are subscribed to our YouTube channel and have your notifications turned on. We upload new Call of Duty content here every single day, and I don't want you guys to miss out on anything. We're getting very close to 1,000 subs on here, and we really appreciate your support. Over the weekend, those of us with PlayStation 4 were able to play alpha gameplay of Black Ops Cold War, the new Call of Duty title coming out in November. Although I think the game in general is very good and has a ton of potential, probably more so than any other COD we've played in recent memory, there are very big issues with the game, and number one is skill-based matchmaking. Things started out pretty smoothly on the alpha, a lot of us enjoyed it, but as time went on, we began to realize that something was going on. Pretty soon the entire community erupted in anger. People were realizing that they were stuck with people on the other team who were at or above their own skill level every single time. The lobbies went from being a pretty mixed bag to being sweaty over and over and over again. The Call of Duty world is notoriously divided. People are always arguing and fighting and butting heads, and there was some of that on Twitter, but for the most part, people came together against this in a way that I've never seen happen before. You had everyone from your average Timmy to the pub stars, to the streamers, to content creators, to org owners, and even CDL players employed by Activision, all complaining about this. It got to the point where skill-based matchmaking was trending on Twitter. There were tens of thousands and eventually hundreds of thousands of tweets from people complaining about this. Not surprisingly, the Treyarch developers pretty much went into hiding after this all began. They were active on Twitter at the very beginning and then silent throughout the alpha all the way until the end. I can't really blame them for that. I think I'd probably do the same thing in their position, but their silence here was deafening. But I think there's a lot of misinformation out there. People don't really know what's going on. They perceive an issue and then they lash out at it, rightly or wrongly. In short, skill-based matchmaking is a system in multiplayer games that ensures that you are being put up against people who are around or higher than your skill level. What we have in Modern Warfare right now and Cold War is much different than what we had in BO4 and World War II and so on. But I think we can learn more about what's going on here if we go and look at what they're doing at EA. There was a Reddit thread that was going around Twitter over the weekend in which they were talking about how EA uses its skill-based matchmaking system. The EA people published a study in which they looked at the amount of times people win and how that correlates with the amount of time that they spend playing the game. And what they found was that the more people win, the less time they spend playing the game. And you might be thinking, well, that doesn't make any sense. The more you win, the more you have fun, the more you're gonna play, right? But we gotta think about this for a minute. If you're winning every game and you're doing very well, you're going to have less of a drive to keep playing. You're going to get tired of winning eventually and either get off for the night or maybe move on to something different. Contrast that with if you win a few games right at the beginning and then you start losing a lot, you're going to try and regain that feeling of winning that you had at the beginning of your session and keep playing for longer in order to win again. They call this experience-based matchmaking. It isn't really based on skill, it's based on how much you're winning. I hear this a lot when people talk about skill-based matchmaking. They say, you know, it's 2020, everyone wants life to be easy, people need safe spaces, they don't want to have to try to win, they don't want to put in the work, they just want everything handed to them on a silver platter just like that. And I'm sympathetic to that to some degree, but I really don't think that is what's going on here. Yes, they're trying to make it easy for new people, but they're not doing it to give them a good experience. They want to make sure that you're spending more time playing the game because the longer you're in the game, the more likely you are to go to their store and purchase products. And if you take a moment and step back and think about that, you'll know that it's true. I mean, the more you play Modern Warfare, for example, if you see people with cool weapons that do pretty well, or you see those cool tracer packs, you're getting your body shot with purple bullets, whether you're aware of it or not, you're gonna look at those bullets and you're gonna think, oh, That's cool, I want that. And then you're more likely to go to the store to buy COD points and then get those bundles. Obviously, the study that determined how this works was based on EA games, especially Apex, but I think that a lot of the principles that they found there are also at work in Activision. Like one of the Treyarch developers said on Twitter, they've had skill-based matchmaking in every Call of Duty since BO2, if not earlier. Some people think that it's like an on-off switch, it's either there or it's not, and it's pretty obvious to tell the difference, but that really isn't how it works. There's all kinds of different factors that go into play, and like I said earlier, every COD game has its own system for how this works. How it worked in BO2 was not the same as AW, or World War II, or BO4, MW, and so on. If we want to take an easy example, Advanced Warfare skill-based matchmaking was based on KD. If you had a bad KD, you would play other bad KD players, and if you wanted to play in those lobbies, all you had to do as a good player was to session join someone with a bad KD, and you'd be in with all the other Timmies. That's not what happens in Modern Warfare, not at all. I don't have a very good KD, it's actually my worst Call of Duty of all time. I don't even have a positive KD, so you would think that I would be put up against other people of my skill level, but I'm not. See, in Modern Warfare, they base their matchmaking on a whole bunch of different factors. KD is part of it, but it's also including movement, accuracy, and other features like that. So even though I don't have the highest KD, my movement and accuracy can put me in a different skill bracket, which you can understand is pretty frustrating for me when all I want to do is get on and have fun while I'm streaming. Modern Warfare is the best-selling COD of all time, the highest-rated COD of all time. People really do enjoy it, and I think a lot of the complaints about matchmaking in that game are restricted to kind of the Call of Duty content Twitter world, which you have to understand is a very, very, very small portion of the whole player base. You see, in the Cold War Alpha, the pro players are not practicing because CDL is over, they're playing, the content creators are all playing, people are in the same public matches, just like we've been all year on Modern Warfare. And what they found was that the skill-based matchmaking ruined their experience. The pro players that are there to have fun are not having fun, they're actually just playing against other pro players as if it was a ranked playlist or CDL. And that was not enjoyable, understandably so. I think there are a number of reasons why this is not a good idea. Yeah, it kills the experience of people who just want to have fun rather than sweat their asses off every time they play the game. But also, for people who stream, it can be really demoralizing and affect the whole atmosphere of the stream. If you're trying to put on a good show for the audience, people are going to notice that you're having less fun when you're losing. They're not going to like the gameplay, they're not going to like your attitude when your morale goes down from performing poorly, and they're going to end up leaving. It does hurt the stream atmosphere quite a lot. It also tries to turn the game into something that I don't think it is. Call of Duty has always been an arcade shooter. It's meant to be casual. People are supposed to just join up, have a good time, and do their thing, but it turns it into a marketing gimmick for the Activision Blizzard corporate empire. Without getting into too many details about that, I think that it's really a shame that they've turned what should be just a fun multiplayer experience into a marketing scheme. I really am not a fan of that. Most importantly though, it encourages reverse boosting. This is another thing that people don't really understand. I see it all the time on YouTube and Twitter comments, so I want to make it clear how this works. Back in Advanced Warfare, like I said, they had a pretty strict KD-based matchmaking system. So all you had to do to get put into easy lobbies, which is what reverse boosting is, was kill yourself over and over again until you get into that lower bracket. But because Modern Warfare takes into account more features than just your KD, it doesn't really have that much of an effect. And same thing with Cold War. You saw pro players, even Scump, killing themselves over and over again, trying to take advantage of the system, and really, it didn't work all that well. What people do to reverse boost in Modern Warfare is much more complex. They've got another account on a different console or a different PC, and so what they'll do is they'll use their main account to session join a game on the shitter account, and then they will play in these terrible lobbies, they'll back the other account out of the game, and they will get their content for YouTube or TikTok or what have you. Some of the people that might not really like reverse boosting but defend it will say something like, well, these people are just trying to be successful, they want to do well on YouTube, and you can't really get mad at them for that. You know, they're doing their thing, it isn't really affecting you, so just leave them be. The problem is that our decisions are never really just about us. And in the case of boosting, it has a very negative effect on people who play the game the way it's supposed to be played. We have a number of people like that in SKIRATA who upload nukes and clips on YouTube and TikTok, and people will always come into the comments section and call them reverse boosters. They'll say, you know, I have a glitch where my enemies shoot back, or why aren't you taking damage, or you suck, or something like that. And that can be really aggravating. It discredits the people who play the game the right way. We don't upload boosted content to this channel, and we sure don't put boosted content on TikTok. So to constantly be harassed by people putting stupid things in the comments is really, really aggravating. And frankly, that would not happen if the main people in the community were not reverse boosting. It creates a culture where people just start to assume that if you get a nuke or you hit a clip, you're boosting. And I think that's pretty unfair to people who play the game the right way. And also, I think it raises the question of, what are you successful at if you reverse boost, right? Like, sure, you're growing on YouTube and you might make a little money from that here and there, but honestly though, if you're reverse boosting your best class setup videos, those aren't best class setups. You're playing against people who can't shoot back, people who don't know left from right, up from down. There's nothing best about that. You could go into one of those lobbies with a riot shield and a knife and drop back-to-back nukes over and over again without any trouble. These people are uploading content that is deliberately misrepresenting the way things are in the game, and that is fancy talk for lying. I really don't think that's a good practice to be doing in Call of Duty or life in general. And to be clear about this, I'm not saying that the reverse boosters are bad players themselves. A lot of the people on TikTok and Twitch and YouTube and stuff will say, oh, you know, get good, you suck, you're just reverse boosting because you can't shoot straight. That doesn't make any sense to me. The people that are doing this for YouTube and TikTok content are doing it because they want to get the content out there in a timely manner. They don't have the time to sit down and to play for 5 hours to get one gameplay for YouTube. They want to hop on, get their gameplay, upload it to YouTube, and move on to the next project. So to summarize, I think that skill-based matchmaking is a terrible idea in Call of Duty because it takes away from the experience of the players in order to line the pockets of the executives and the stockholders of the parent company, and it pretty much encourages people to create fraudulent content for YouTube and TikTok and even Twitch. So what would my solution be in Black Ops Cold War? Activision obviously wants it to be a certain way in order to make them more money. Treyarch wants to keep Activision happy but also please the community. So what is the middle ground here? Even though we've all been pushing hashtag remove SBMM on Twitter, realistically, that is never going to happen. What I think they need to do in Cold War is what they did in BO4, and that is have a party-based matchmaking system. That way, people that get into full parties will be more likely to face other people in full parties, which will protect the newer people, make sure that they're not playing against tryhards every single game, but also ensure that people are having fun and playing the game more. They also have a league play feature, which does basically have skill-based matchmaking, but it's elective. If you want to play people at or above your skill level competitively, you can go into league play and you can do that, no problem. The option is there, but you can also go into pubs and have fun just the same. Now that fewer people are playing BO4 in year 2, a lot of people are noticing that you can play solo and still get put up against a full party. But during the game's life, that isn't really how it worked out, and I think that we could do something like that in Cold War that would appease the people in Activision, but also make the community happy and ensure that everyone is having a good experience in the process. And to be frank with you, whatever we got in the alpha, I don't want that for another year. They have to change something, and I think all of the outcry and all the media attention that skill-based matchmaking got during the alpha will probably prompt them to make some kind of a change. Will it be enough? Will it be sufficient to please people in the community while also achieving Activision's goals? I'm not sure. Time will tell what happens during the beta and the full launch of the game. But until then, I want you guys to talk about this in the comment section. If we want change to happen here, we need to ensure that we keep the conversation going, not just in the YouTube comments, but also on Twitter and in the Treyarch feedback forum, which I will link in the description along with all of our socials so you can connect with SKIRATA Gaming on other platforms and stay up to date with what we're doing. Until next time, my name's Original Bon Jovi. Peace.